Well, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. Chase Sr. here with you, and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. Coming up, we have to talk about it. The Green Bay Packers revised their Tush push proposal, and it shows that Green Bay organization, a bunch of sore losers. As for the Tush push latest, probably going to get a decision here this week. Could come in the next 24 to 48 hours during the NFL meetings here that are transpiring this week. And this Tush push ban proposal needs 24 of 32 owners to vote yes on banishing the play. The NFL owners meetings earlier in April, it looked as though we were going to reach a decision for the 2025 season. But the vote was an even 16-16 split. You're thinking, okay, the vote and the proposal didn't get to 24. That means that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be able to continue to run this play, and other teams, if they want, even though they can't, will be able to run this play either. Roger Goodell, who is not a fan of the play, decided to table this discussion until this week at the latest NFL meetings. And previously here on the show, we have talked about that old Packers proposal, which started to gain some traction going into the NFL Combine. When we were there in Indianapolis, everybody was talking about the brotherly shove, and then it really started to pick up steam going into the NFL owners meetings previously earlier this offseason. As for that new revised proposal from Green Bay, ridiculous. Here's how it reads. Amend Rule 12, Section 1, Article 4 as follows. New language is underlined. Deleted language struck through. Article 4, assisting the runner and interlocking interference. No offensive player may, A, push or pull a runner in any direction at any time or lift him to his feet. B, use interlocking interference by grasping a teammate or by using his hands or arms to encircle the body of a teammate in an effort to block an opponent. C, push or throw his body against a teammate to aid him in an attempt to obstruct an opponent or to recover a loose ball. Or D, this is new, assist the runner except by individually blocking opponents for him. The penalty for assisting the runner, interlocking interference, or illegal use of hands, arms, or body by the offense. Loss of 10 yards. Effect prohibits an offensive player from pushing, pulling, lifting, or assisting the runner except by individually blocking opponents for him. The reason, unbelievable, player safety and pace of play. This would mean that any play where a runner in any way, shape, or form is pushed, pulled, lifted, or assisted, it would be banned by the National Football League. And you read some of that language. The NFL has gotten soft in recent years, and I understand some of it. You have to err on the side of player safety, but what are we going to do? Ban combo blocks as well? Combo blocks moving forward? Not going to be allowed? The Packers are sore losers, and they have tried to run this play with Jordan Love, and they have failed. And I've seen some Packers reporters and beat reporters respond to some of my tweets over time saying, Jordan Love, here's evidence of him running the play. It ain't the brotherly shove. And when he tried to run the tush push at one point against Atlanta, he stumbled over his feet. He does not have the strong, built lower half that Jalen Hurts has. And so the Packers know that the Philadelphia Eagles are a wagon. They are a force. Green Bay lost to the Eagles twice last year. They can't stop the play. And so they don't want the Eagles to be able to run this play any longer. And I think here it's become very clear. Here in the city of Philadelphia, we have that saying, no one likes us, we don't care. And with this particular situation, the Philadelphia Eagles are a victim of their own success. If Philadelphia did not win the Super Bowl, and win the Super Bowl in convincing fashion by thumping the Kansas City Chiefs, this would not be a thing. If it were the Miami Dolphins, and it were called the Dolphin Push, or the Jaguar Scrumble, nobody would care. If other teams across the NFL outside of Philadelphia were running this play, any other team, it wouldn't be a talking point. But because it's the Philadelphia Eagles, people are making this a big deal. And what's hilarious is that this proposal needed 24 votes after this Green Bay initial proposal. It got 16. Yet there is still a good chance that it gets banned. The Packers pushed for this. They didn't get enough votes, and they still might win this. And instead of trying to ban the brotherly shove, I think the Green Bay Packers should focus on a few things. Like in week 1 in Brazil, don't let Saquon Barkley record a hat trick and score 3 touchdowns in week 1 in his first game as a Philadelphia Eagle. The Packers could have maybe tackled Dallas Goedert on that angry run in the wild card round of the playoffs. The Packers could have not let Jordan Love throw 3 picks against the Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field in the wild card round. The Packers could have not committed 8 penalties and then committed 4 turnovers. The Packers, this is just cowardly stuff. And it is sore loser stuff from a very overrated organization. The Packers are overrated. There's no other way to put it. I could think of other pace of play issues, right? How about spiking the football to stop the clock? How about endless commercials during game broadcasts? RIP to the real red zone. Remember Scott Hansen used to say, and now 8 hours of commercial-free football. Can't even say that on red zone anymore because there are now in-game ads. You know what else slows down play, video replay? The chain gang coming out to measure the sticks when there's technology to the point where we don't even need that anymore. And how overrated are the Green Bay Packers? Yeah, Bart Starr, Vince Lombardi, one of the blue bloods of this league and the National Football League. They do have a proud history. Most of the Packers fans I've met, they're great people. I'm not knocking on Packers fans. I appreciate the Midwestern hospitality. Lived in the Midwest for a couple of years, and Packer fans are very nice, except when I went down to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, I met some really mean Packer fans. And I'm like, hold up. What's going on here? I was a little bit caught off guard. But with Brett Favre having played for Green Bay from 1992 to 2007, and with Aaron Rodgers playing for the Packers from 2005 to 2022, 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time. 2 quarterbacks who, growing up, I absolutely loved watching. The gunslinger mentality, finding keyholes with their throws, making unbelievable acrobatic plays. Clutch Gene in a lot of those big ball games as well. Speaking of big games, they had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers from 92 to 2022. They won 2 Super Bowls. Overrated organization. Kind of like how the Boston Celtics and their history, very overrated. A majority of their titles came when Bill Russell was playing for the Celtics, and there were 10 or less teams in the NBA. And then they have 2 titles over the last, 4 decades? Overrated history. Packers, Celtics. And if safety concerns are going to be brought up, well, when an NFL study shows there have been no injuries, how do you cite injury concerns and injury worries when no injuries have happened because of the tush push and brotherly shove? How are you going to cite pace of play issues when there are other instances and plays that actually impact the pace of the game? I would make the argument that the tush push is safer than a quarterback sneak because in a way you're protecting the quarterback. And if the tush push was so easy, everybody would do it. When the Eagles first started to run it and it became sexy to the NFL, other teams tried. I remember Kirk Cousins not being able to move an inch. I remember Jared Goff not being able to run this play. I still remember Jordan Love falling over his feet. Not every team has a dominant offensive line like the Philadelphia Eagles have. And no other team across the NFL has a quarterback who can squat 600 pounds. You want to ban this? We may as well ban the RPO, the read option for Lamar Jackson. It's too difficult to stop. It's not a football play. The tush push screams football to me. Hat on hat. Physicality against physicality. Oftentimes, we watch the game from the sideline to see what type of push the offensive line gets, what type of push the defensive line gets, who's going to win at the point of attack. This play requires that. And if you don't like something that the other team is doing, find ways to stop it. Like the Kansas City Chiefs did against the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. When the Bills tried to run their own version of the brotherly shove, and they went 0 of 4, and it was a big reason why they lost that game. You know what the Chiefs did? Steve Spagnuolo is quoted as saying this. He studied the tape, and he realized that Josh Allen always went left. What did the Chiefs do? Prepare for that. So this play to me screams football. You want to exploit the opposition's weakness. And if other teams can't contend with the Eagles' offensive line and their quarterback, that's too bad. Because when you find a successful play, you continue to run that successful play. The level of nuance with this play is also extremely specific. And it is something that the Eagles practice to a T. They put a lot of effort toward all of this. And it requires a lot of attention to detail and very fine coaching. You don't believe me? Here's what Nick Sirianni had to say about the tush push at the NFL Combine, and he explains this in perfect detail.
Yeah, that's a good question, Jeff. I think I've seen some of the stuff like, about what that it's an automatic play or, that it's not we work really, I almost feel a little insulted because we work so hard at that play. The amount of things that we've looked into how to coach that play, the fundamentals, is always, there's 1,000 plays out there, but it comes down to how you teach the fundamentals and how the players go through and do with the fundamentals. I can't tell you how many times we practice the snap, we practice the play, because it's not a play that it's easy to practice. There's different ways we figured out how to practice it. The complements that come off of it that can create explosive plays, again, we saw it in big-time games this year, and the fact that it's an automatic thing, that we work really, really hard, and our guys are talented at this play, and so it's a little insulting to say we're good at it, so it's automatic. We work really hard at it, and you see it throughout the league. I mean, we saw it in the championship games that a team failed at it and ultimately didn't end up winning the game because of it. I watch every week. I watch every first and goal red zone fail every single time. And sometimes that first and goal starts at the 1, and you see the team not be able to get in because they're not able to do that. And so I think that it's a skill that our team has because of the players that we have, the way the coaches coach it. There's just so much time put into it. The fact that it's a successful play for the Eagles and people want to take that away, I think is a little unfair. I said,
what about the suggestion that it's the only play which you can push and pull?
Well, you can't pull.
Right.
You can't pull. I see. We look at all the plays throughout the NFL that happen. One of my guys pokes up all the plays because we teach this. When a ball carrier is in a pile, on a run, Saquon's in a pile on a run, the offensive line gets behind them and pushes them. Now, you can't sprint behind them and crush the pile. You can't pull there. But that's something that we see throughout, and, we've had some success on that as well. The defense, when the defense is there, no one's going to tell the defense to stop pushing. Hey, one guy's enough. You can't add anybody else into it. So I think it's just again, obviously I'm protective of it because we've had success with it. But, again, I think that the competition committee will do a good job of looking at everything. And but I do feel that way a little bit, just a little bit insulting in that sense of that, because the guys work hard at it. We work hard at it, and you know what? It wasn't 100% for us this year. We missed on some 2-point conversions from the one. We missed them on some third downs. We missed on some fourth downs. I think we were in the 80% of what we were, and just because it's a successful play for us doesn't mean that it should go away.
See, Nick Sirianni just knows ball. And how many times do you watch football games and NFL games where a running back hits the hole, there's a big scrum, and offensive linemen are trying to push that pile? You think now offensive linemen are just going to be like, oh, nope, can't touch him, can't touch him, can't touch him. Nope, nope, nope. Saquon Barkley, you got to do it yourself. That can also lead to injury. So Jeffrey Lurie also pointed some great things out about the brotherly shove and the tush push too. And he acknowledges, look, safety is the most important thing when evaluating any play. We've been very open to whatever data exists on the tush push, and there's just been no data that shows that it isn't a very, very safe play. If it weren't, we wouldn't be pushing the tush push. But I think, first of all, it's a precision play. It's very practiced. We devote a lot of resources to the tush push. We think we have an unusual use of personnel because we have a quarterback that can squat over 600 pounds and an offensive line that's filled with all-pro players. That combination with incredible detailed coaching with Jeff Stoutland has created a play that we can be very successful at. There's other ways of gaining that half yard, that yard. There's quarterback sneaks, other types, but we've been very, very good at it. It's a play that's available to every other team in the league. And I think it hasn't been used more than 5 times by almost every team in the league. Buffalo is an exception. The usage rate has gone down over the last year dramatically in the league. We're still very good at it. We're not as good as we were the year before. We've got to adapt. And look, a couple things there. I think if this play is banished, and I have a feeling we're moving in that direction, the Eagles are going to adapt. They're still going to be very successful with running their own iteration of the quarterback sneak. I also hope that when the Eagles play the Packers this year at Lambeau Field, they come up with some type of creative play that is very reminiscent or close to the brotherly shove. And then lastly, if this play is deemed legal and teams can continue to use it, what are the Buffalo Bills going to do? Sean McDermott has said, I'm against the play. I don't think it's safe. Yet they've used it the second most times to the Philadelphia Eagles. Is he just going to forget all of that and say, oh, Josh Allen, I know I've said all of this, but I'm going to make myself look like a clown. We're going to continue to run it. Sore loser mentality. So if the Packers are sore losers and you don't like how Green Bay is pushing this, I think they should focus more on being a better football team. How about Matt LaFleur wins a big game? How about you actually beat the Philadelphia Eagles? You couldn't twice last year. Type FGB. Go Birds. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.